welcome to Comic Book Look. My name is John. We got Tom over here. We are a weekly comic book show. We are here to talk about the comic industry, the culture, questions that you got, hot topics out there, everything, you name it. The number one emphasis on our show is that we're doing this because we enjoy it and because you enjoy it. So this is definitely, we appreciate the support that we've gotten so far. Big thank you to the YouTube, the Facebook. It's going really well on there. So this is our third issue on there, and we're really excited.
Heck yeah, man, I'm excited. The first two issues were good, and we've got a lot of good feedback. Thanks for all the guys for watching it. Hopefully there's some gals out there watching it as well. Oh, yeah. And, but yeah, I think today we're just going to go through a quick rundown of what we've been reading, you know, what we're thinking about it, and, you know, I guess, yeah, mine's from, not just this week, but last week. But yeah, let's start it off. I'll start it off with a book that just came out today, I guess the day we taped it. It's Wednesday, Comic Book Wednesday. And I got Detective Comics. It has just been absolutely phenomenal lately. We got Scott Snyder and Francesco Francavilla on art, and Scott Snyder's just been writing. He's the writer of American Vampire, been killing it on that. But this story is so great in terms of the Gordon family. I mean, Scott Snyder has such a handle on the Gordon family. You know, it's all about Gordon's son coming in back into Gotham, and you know, Commissioner Gordon having to find out, is he bad, is he good, or what. And you know, this issue, a lot of things go, and I mean, it is a must pick up. If you're not reading this, you must. I mean, with this DC reboot, you know, Scott Snyder will still be writing Batman, but we're not going to get the same art team. So, you know, pick up what has been going. Him and since Jacques and Francesco Francavilla have been switching off, you need to pick up the whole run. It's a must do. But yeah, amazing Batman work and Commissioner Gordon work.
Nice.
What do you got for number one?
All right. So I had a chance finally to sit down and read Uncanny X-Men. I'm kind of hiding the top because a little something going on there, a little crossover with our beloved Fear itself. I know.
I know you like it, and a lot of other people have too. You know.
So all in all, you know, this has been actually I thought it was just a real solid issue on there. You know, you got Gillen.
Yep.
On there? Okay.
Karen Gillan.
Yeah. On there, you know, behind the story. And it's just kind of a neat issue to kind of see Juggernaut back in the pages of the X-Men as a villain, because he's been kind of playing the good guy for a while. And, it finally, Fear itself is finally doing something. That's what this issue is saying to me in a nutshell there. But all in all, it's kind of a breath of fresh air for the series. Uncanny X-Men's been kind of, you know, the politics of utopia and stuff like that. So it's kind of neat to be able to see us working towards a big explosion excitement, and that's what I read it for.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so that's definitely mine.
But I read that as well, and I like, you're right. It is they need it. Karen Gillan has been doing a lot better than what we've seen before. But they need to do some art changes. I mean, Greg Land on art, I'm not a big fan of him. He makes all the women look like porn stars, and I don't know. I just don't like it. But other than that, I think Karen Gillan's run on X-Men so far has been pretty good.
Well, I mean, you know, Emma Frost.
Yeah, I mean, look at that shot of Emma Frost. That's when she's walking into like meet Namor, and she is like, her whole ass is just hanging out.
I don't know,
but you know, what are you gonna do? That's probably just Emma. Okay, well, I guess I'll go next. This is one that came out I don't even know how long ago, a few weeks ago, but I just wanted to talk about it because it's so good. Criminal, The Last of the Innocent. It's by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. I wanted to talk about it because Criminal is just such a good series. It's been going on for quite some time now, and it comes out, you know, periodically. They've been busy with Incognito, which was just, you know, not good. I mean, they kind of rehashing of a book they did earlier, which was Sleeper. But this Criminal book is something special. All the other Criminal books have taken place like in big cities, back alleys, and stuff like this. This takes place in like rural community, and crime is all. I mean, that's the only tying in of all these books. They're all different characters and genres, but it's just all always about crime. And the artist goes back and forth. This time from like a childhood, and then when he does like the childhood shots, it's all like in really cartoony. And then when he does nowadays, it's just his regular Sean Phillips style, which is just great art. And it just it's a must pick up. You guys got to go and get Criminal if you're not reading it. It's from Icon, the indie print of indie as you get for Marvel creators, and Ed Brubaker has just fallen off lately. So it's good to see him do this because he's writing Captain America, which has just strictly became boring. It's just not as good anymore.
I'm staying neutral. No?
And hopefully, I love Captain America, and so he did such good things with him. I think right around Marvel Project time, he's fallen off. Incognito, he did that with Sean Phillips. Sean Phillips' art's great, but they did Sleeper, and it was just like a rehashing of that with a different name. So I didn't like it. So yeah, great to see Criminal coming out. Hopefully we get the next issue soon, and it's a great one, so pick it up.
Cool. Well, second on my deck is, of course, going to be my beloved, censored, Alpha Flight again.
You can uncensor that. This is people should see these Flashpoint I wish. Fear Itself tie-ins.
Wow. Fear Itself is a little bit. Never mind. I'm not going to get into that. Anyways, let's see. Who we got? Van Lente. Did I do that right?
Yep.
Okay. On deck here for writing that one, and then
Pack writes it too.
Okay. And, no, all in all, like I said, I'm just tickled pink that this series is back on the shelves. Like, I rushed to the comic book store today so quick, I forgot to bring my camera to do the show tonight. I was just like, this is great. The series the first run ended up with the team just having all this tiff with the Canadian government, and here we go again, Canadian government is just being really shady with them, abducting over half the team, to put them on a new agenda, so it's really just weird. Canada and the Marvel Universe is just really strange. However, you get those heroic moments. We get Puck back in the series.
I thought he was dead.
No, last time we saw him was in Wolverine in Hell, and no, he evidently came back and helped save the day.
He evidently came back, huh? Yeah. Back from the dead.
Believer now. No, but it was just great to see, to have that cameo. Like, I just was like, sweet.
I'm just happy that you get an Alpha Flight title because Alpha Flight hasn't been around, and you're the only person I know that loves Alpha Flight.
Dude, Alpha Flight is amazing. I have every single issue.
The people who own our local comic shop kept they got one Alpha Flight poster for like a promotional thing, and they made sure nobody got it until he walked in the door. It was like, hey, our lone Alpha Flight obsession fan, he gets it.
Hey, I appreciated it though. They gave me some buttons too.
Yeah, that's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, a little vintage,
And it's just cool that they did that too for you.
Alpha Flight number 2, get it, right, Tom?
That's right. Something like that. I like it. I like Puck. I'm glad I thought Puck was dead.
Yeah, he's back.
Well, the next one. Flashpoint. Oh boy. Flashpoint number 3.
Was it good?
There's some good things and there's some bad things about it. It started with Batman, which is Thomas Wayne in it, and Barry Allen. He's all wrapped up because he recently doused himself in chemicals and then struck himself with lightning to try to regain his Flash powers, and it didn't turn out so well. He didn't get them, so he was all bandaged up. Batman's trying to help him. He thinks he needs another lightning bolt. It gets a little out of hand, but it kind of turns to other things. That part was okay. There's some funny parts. Watching, he ends up going outside and he becomes Flash again by getting a bigger bolt of lightning struck on him. So it's almost kind of like it's silly comic book fun that it only would work in comic books, and so that's kind of fun. The issue overall, though, it says Project Superman on it because at the end it reveals who Superman is. And in the Flashpoint world, Superman landed in a different area, never met Ma and Pa Kent, and he was kept under like red sunlights, and he's never seen the sun. He is really weak and skinny and small, and it was really kind of just a cool take on.
Yeah, almost like complete opposite.
Yeah,
pretty
exactly. And it's kind of like a cool Elseworlds tale. This is ended up being. I kind of almost wish it would have just been Elseworlds instead of trying to tie it in like Flash created it and Reverse Flash. But other than that, yeah, I mean, Flashpoint, I'm enjoying it. Some of the downsides is it's tons of exposition, and I hope I'm saying that right, and like just too much extra dialogue that probably isn't needed. Kind of almost, like older comics style.
Talk about our feelings and everything.
Yeah, I don't know, or like you say people's full names and stuff like that. But other than that, I still think it's worth pick up. It's sure hell of a lot better than Fear itself. So
wow. Is it my turn?
Yep, your turn, buddy.
Well. And now I'm enjoying Thunderbolts.
That is 3 books in a row with that Fear itself tag.
But no, and we were talking about this. This is not my fault. These are.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about having a giant blue banner on the top of everything?
It is kind of cool looking. But I don't. Yeah, it's not the end of the world, but it's it is what it is. But no, I love all 3 lines. I've been collecting them religiously. So, anyways, we got Parker and Shelby on deck for this issue. Thunderbolts. The issue as a whole was actually, I just thought it was fun. Like, it was great. Again, Juggernaut on the rampage with his hammer. You don't like the hammers.
Well, I don't like the hammers, but I mean, I Jeff Parker can at least do it when he has to, when he gets forced to write a Fear itself title. That's pretty darn good. Yeah.
The issue itself, my personal highlight for it was the Alpha team actually working more as a team on it, because they're like, okay, we got a problem and we got to do something about it. Because even like Moonstone, who, as we talked about in one of our first episode, I believe, she's just all for herself, but this time she was almost kind of a team player. So I'm assuming issue 161 is probably gonna, have me put my shoe in my mouth for that one.
Yeah,
but
we'll see.
She'll probably come back around. The Beta team is still up to no good, however, too. They're still waiting. When should we do Activator Nanites?
Let's do it now.
What a twist! No, but it's so they're kind of conniving a little bit. They're being kept in reserve in case the Alpha team needs some backup on there. All in all, though, it was a really good issue. This is Thunderbolts 160, and I definitely recommend picking up this series if you're not reading it, and definitely just check that issue out.
Yeah, Thunderbolts is always good. My next one, I'm going to just do real quick. Batman Night of Vengeance. It's a Flashpoint tie-in that doesn't need to be. It's with Brian Azzarello writing and Edward Risso on art. It just could be just it's going to be 3 issues, a great story that really doesn't have anything to do with Flashpoint, except that it just is in that world, and it's just absolutely awesome. And I just want to make sure that everybody, that if you are reading Flashpoint, pick this up, and if you're not, pick it up anyway, because you don't need to read it. Only downside is they have Joker from the movie, with the cut mouths. Not my favorite Joker. I wanted to say that real quick, so I'm going to my next one. I'm doubling up. Goon is back. The Goon is an indie comic that's been around forever from Dark Horse. Eric Powell writes it, and it's been on hiatus forever. He's, the Goon, and this is just kind of a fun issue. It starts off making fun of Twilight, and I could have left that without. I wasn't a big fan of it. On the cover it says, "Sparkly vampires, are you bleeping kidding me?" Whatever. And
it had it coming, though.
Yeah. But then the rest of it is like Goon gets drunk. Orphans need him. They coerce him by saying they have spaghetti. They ended up saying like the person that's running their orphanage ate all the spaghetti. Goon gets mad, ends up being a monster, has to kick the crap out of him. Done. Goon story. Pick it up.
Wow. Nice. Well, do you want me to get to the big one, or?
All right, you gonna do it?
Do it up. All right. Well. The trending topic on Facebook, which has nothing to do with Facebook because that's a Twitter term, has actually been the X-Men Schism #1. Aaron and Pacheco on it.
You're starting off. What'd you think?
I am the biggest X-Men fan ever. It's just, it kind of feels like I was a little overwhelmed actually when I was reading it, just because there's the tension between obviously the 2 characters, Cyclops and Wolverine, right on the cover, on there, and the way that they opened it I thought was kind of cool, having, you know, little clips of the past and stuff like that, like, you know, you never follow orders, so that was kind of neat. Just the classic Sentinel robots back on deck was interesting on there as well. I don't really want to cast my positive opinion on the issue as a whole. There are a lot of strong points in it. But my main concern would be, as this is a key event, I think that there may have been need of a little bit more detail, perhaps. Now, the one cool thing I thought was at the tail end of the issue, we did get to see the Hellfire Club. And I've always been intrigued with that organization, and I'm pretty excited to kind of see them on deck. I'm really just curious to see, you know, who sides with Wolverine and who sides with Cyclops. But again, there's so much at play, and you got Hope's Generation Hope team in there. So if you're not familiar with some of those characters, definitely get familiar with it so you can kind of get the whole experience. But for me, out of this, I'd probably give this opening issue probably a 3 out of 5 on there, because there's just some of it, it wasn't necessary. Some of it I wanted more. I'm kind of picky with my comics, so what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, overall, well, first on Facebook the topic was I didn't want to buy it because it was $5.
Yeah.
It's $4.99. I am mad at buying $3.99 comics and it's $4.99.
Yeah.
I just counted the comic pages right there. It's supposed to be double size. Well, that was 33 pages of art. So normal comic is 22. So is it worth an extra $2 for 10 pages of art? I don't know. You be the judge. I didn't buy it, but I did read the copy of John's. And the writing's good. I mean, Jason Aaron, he can be kind of opinionated on his CBR review, column, and, he's opinionated guy, and he has his own feelings on different things. He talked crap about Alan Moore a while back and ruffled a lot of feathers. But his comic book writing is usually pretty good. He has a lot of books that are awesome. Punisher Max and, Wolverine dropped off a little bit. I didn't like that as much, but Astonishing Wolverine and Spider-Man was really good, and Scalp's good. But there's really good dialogue in different parts. But overall, just rehashing issues again. Are we going to see Sentinels again attacking? Are we gonna see the Hellfire Club, which is cool to see them back? Yeah. But what was it, the Kid Omega, or what was his name?
Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't even never heard of him before, and he looked like I thought he looked old, and then it ended up being he's like supposed to be 16
or something. And the other thing too is that Cyclops and Wolverine must have recognized him with the "oh no" kind of thing, unless it was like, oh no, there's something that's
it looks like they're all familiar with him, like they can't believe he's doing this. He's been around, must have been, but obviously we haven't been paying close enough attention.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, other than that, the art, I've heard a lot of people talk about how good Pacheco is. Don't really remember reading anything from him, but I didn't really like the way the Wolverine was drawn. He kind of looked kind of Frankensteinish. Always had his head down.
Oh, bar.
But other than that, it was just a okay issue.
There was a cool spread though.
Yeah, like I said, there's one, like Wolverine. It seems like,
that's like a poster.
Yeah, he spent some time, the one splash page, he did spend some time, and that looks cool, but as it's not good. It's not worth $5. I wouldn't pick it up if I were you, but,
For me, I picked it. It's just a key event, and I'm all about that, staying in touch with it. So.
And you're a Marvel man, so you got it. Marvel X-Men man. But yeah, I'm a little disappointed, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, I'll go to the next one. I want to talk about this. It's a Zombie. It's a book from DC. Dwayne McDuffie, his old company. I don't know. I think he started this Millennium or something like that. I never read any of those books. He started this character, though, and they brought it. DC has started publishing it, and it's only 4 issues. But, this art is absolutely fantastic. Fraser Irving is on art, and John Rossum is writing it. And, the color palettes that he chooses are so good. He had a little thing with on Batman and Robin that probably most people might have probably be the best place for you to recognize him from. But I mean, his art is just so solid. I mean, I don't know if you can see this, but I mean, that spread is just so beautiful. And I mean, you can tell that he takes into effect every single panel. Definitely worth picking up. It's going to be sad to see when the DC reboot comes. You know, this will be done. So hopefully, maybe you'll pick up later. You know, I heard the sales aren't good, so you know, but you know that kind of stinks. Another book I'm going to double up on is The Red Wing. It just came out today. It's Jonathan Hickman, who's writing Fantastic Four and wrote Secret Warriors and Pax Romana and Nightly News. This is his indie book, next one from Image, and there's a lot of buzz on this because, you know, he's coming back. He has, Jonathan Hickman, big ideas, you know, and I like Jonathan Hickman a lot, and, you know, I hope he was going to knock it out of the park, and in this, it's a time-traveling pilot story, and I thought it was subpar. I mean, Jonathan Hickman brings so much to the table sometimes that, you know, you're just so excited for it. But with this, I mean, he is strictly writing for the trade. I mean, you don't get not near the information you want to, because he went to the school of Bendis and he writes for the trade, and so we get one issue where if we bought the trade and we got all 4 issues, you know, we wouldn't even know, because you go right on and then it's making sense and it's really cool. But we get the first part, and, you know, we should be rewarded as being the people that get there on Wednesday and buy the books, and, you know, you don't. So, you know, Jonathan Hickman, you know, give me more, or just, you know, put it out as an OGN. I mean, it's as simple as that. Done with Red Wing. I'm probably going to pick up the rest of the series, because I'm sure when it's all done, it's going to be good. It makes me mad that he writes that way. And he has to take advice from Bendis. But anyway, you got one more?
I got one more here. We got New Mutants number 27. Abnett and Lanning?
Yep, they're writing it together. They're a team.
Nice. Okay.
And Fernandez does the art.
Okay. And this one, New Mutants, it's kind of a random one. I actually missed issue 25, and so when I went to get 26, I'm like, oh crap, you know. So I met the Sugar Man actually formally for the first time. A very odd-shaped villain.
Yeah.
So it's just a new direction for the team, you know, and I kind of feel like they're being a little downplayed on there, because Cyclops is like, hey, I need you to clean up some of our unresolved business, essentially. So I don't know how I feel about that necessarily, them being the Merry Maids, because I grew up on, you know, the X-Force and getting familiar with some of these, you know, characters, Moonstone and Sunspot and so forth, and I just kind of missed that independent group that they had going there for a while. So I hope to kind of see them back on their own kind of show, I guess, not being on Cyclops' agenda for go sweep out the kitchen, you know, kind of thing. However, you got your best friend on the team.
Yeah, Cypher.
Yeah, and we got Warlock back. So I mean, there's a lot of cool things, and just getting to meet some of the old characters that used to be part of the team. I love this line. So no other complaints other than being Cyclops' janitor.
Yeah.
I give it about a 4 out of 5.
And I think, you know, Abnett and Lanning, who was writing it, I mean, they're known for their Cosmic Marvel giant overarching story that lasted like 3 years, and a lot of other things. I mean, they're known as a real good team, and it's cool that they took over New Mutants. And I like New Mutants a lot, like you said. You know, Cypher, big fan. You know, we grew up on New Mutants, but you know, I want it to be really, really good, and then that's what it is like that's, they're trying to say, like, that's the premise now.
Yeah.
It seems like they're gonna just start taking the different odd jobs and take them out. I mean, you know, Nate Gray is a cool character, though. At least they're, you know, kind of dealing with that stuff. I don't know. I haven't even read that issue yet, but because, you know, it just came out today, and you know, you don't read so much in one day. But
you've been reading like all day.
Yeah, exactly. Kick it out.
I try it at work, but I get so many breaks.
Exactly. I mean, and it's this is late when we're taping too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, gotta love it. You know, it's well worth it. And we're having fun.
Totally.
But yeah, last book that I want to talk about quick is FF, another Jonathan Hickman who wrote Red Wing. Love FF. We just talked about 2 episodes ago. It's my favorite, you know, series. And then this comes out.
Uh-oh.
And we get Marvel double shipping bills that they've been doing lately. So I don't get the right artist. because it has to come out twice a month, and because Marvel likes to take advantage of their, you know, ongoing readers. And so then I get subpar art on this, and then it doesn't even have anything to do with Fantastic Four at all. It's a completely Kree Inhuman story that is really confusing, and once again would only make sense if you read it in the trade, because you don't. I mean, they were not dealing with this directly before. I mean, it's been this giant overarching story since Fantastic Four was Fantastic Four, not FF, and I've loved it all. Like how, you know, every once in a while, you know, they have one and done stories and stuff, but this one simply, you know, I just feel like it dropped the ball. Bad art, and if you were going to have to do a story of strictly Kree Inhumans and not have the Fantastic Four, no Fantastic Four characters appear at any time, then you got to have a great artist to keep it in there, and it didn't happen. So, you know, don't pick up FF.
You're angry about that.
I am. Well, I mean, it's a good series. And I feel like they're probably, I mean, it could have been good, and I almost feel like I've heard things what Hickman, the writer, talks about that series, and like it was his initial pitch to kill Johnny Storm, but it sure wasn't in his initial pitch to change the numbering and change the name of the book. And, you know, this is all Marvel marketing that has to, you know, get as much money out of people as they can. That's what I think. All right, but you know, that's what we thought of our books, and it, you know, we love comics, and it was fun. You know, we get opinionated. So I mean, even though I'm still buying, even though I talk all this crap, I'm still buying from them because I'm the only characters. But I thought at the end of the show we should go over some just some comic book news that's been out recently, so we can bring up some topics to comment about and see what you think. First off, I want to bring up Shade, new series by James Robinson, creator and of Starman. Awesome, you know, series that everybody goes back and says is amazing. Well, James Robinson, you know, really hasn't done anything really good since then. So we'll be really excited to see if this is going to be James Robinson, Cry for Justice, horrible, or, you know, Shade, you know, Starman style, very good. But it does have amazing artists. I just want to read this off. Darwin Cook, Javier Pulido, and I'm pronouncing that wrong, Jill Thompson, Fraser Irving, Gene Ha, Tony Harris on covers, so, you know, that'll be really cool. The next one is animated Batman Year One. The animated movie will be premiering at Comic-Con, so when, you know, that's not for a while, but, you know, I'm excited about that movie, and we'll be doing a show about it because I'm going to make you watch it.
I'll watch it.
And then Marvel launched a new store initiative that if you're going to open up a new comic shop, you get a whole bunch of discounts and for the first 6 months and get all these free books and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool to see Marvel try to, you know, get something going when, you know, a lot of the things, you know, they do, are not always great. But also, you know, this is kind of a dying industry, so I'm sure that's hard anyway to pick them up. You know, our current comic shop just closed their store in Sioux City, so Sioux City can't even. We live in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Sioux City's in Iowa and South Dakota and Nebraska, and it's almost as big as Sioux Falls, but it's sad to see that they can't have their own comic shop.
People down there are pissed.
Oh yeah,
I'd be freaking out.
And then I wanted to also talk about I've been on the CBR forums, Comic Book Resources forums, and I happened to read. I was just reading them through. I don't go on there very often. I just have been on there recently, and I get a hold, start reading, and then it's Stephen Wacker, the editor for Marvel. He's on there just, you know, talking with everybody else, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool of him to do. And then I start reading what he's saying, and he's just bad mouthing everybody. I make a comment that it's cool that you know, he's, you know, talking to everybody, and, you know, he sarcastically says something back to me, and he's just all these underhanded comments. And I was like, wow, that's pretty unprofessional of you to be doing this. And you know, someone said a lot of these fools are sticking up for him, but a lot of people aren't. But I just wanted to, you know, point out that, you know, Stephen Wacker is lame for calling out his fans on the CBR forums, being, you know, just downright rude to them, and then also producing Amazing Spider-Man, which is like the worst book that Marvel produces right now.
Minus the hat. I don't know. And you told me
you dropped Amazing Spider-Man though.
Yeah, I know I did. And you told me like there was some comment that he made about like, you know, this isn't my workplace or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. He's like, well, this isn't my workplace. I can say what I want. You know?
Unfortunately, it is because you know the fans are the ones who are buying your work, and that's how you get paid. So
yeah, I mean it's as close as it comes
exactly.
as a workplace.
Like,
yeah, so
I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah,
that he was doing that.
I think it's lame.
I don't know the dude at all, and I didn't read the stuff. So
yeah,
but that's yeah, I definitely.
Well, I just think it's stupid, and you know, it's just like these people are comic book fans. There's not a lot of us out here left. You got to be respectful of the ones you got. So, down with Stephen Wacker, lame ass. All right, but yeah, all right. That's the end of it. This is comic book. This is a comic book look, issue 3. Check us out at acomicbooklook at gmail.com.
Yeah,
Let us know what you think. Shoot us any messages if you have any ideas for shows or if you have any questions. Comment on the YouTube page, and then also just search in Facebook a comic book look. We'll try to put like a something that some sort of link somewhere around here that you can click and it'll just go to that Facebook page.
Yeah.
And other than that, check it out. Thanks for everybody commenting. We had more comments from a lot of guys on the Inveterate Media Junkies boards, and
cool.
Also on our YouTube page. So subscribe, tell your friends, and thank you so much.
Yeah.
Until next week.